Let us discuss about the question of the day today. China always has a mysterious progress. Its recent steps are spiraling the volatility in the rest of the world. In this context, what shall be the India's strategy to face the crisis with a special focus on India-China trade relations? So now, I divide the question into two parts. Whenever in the UPSC a question is asked, break down that into individual components. So first is the recent steps of China and how it is creating the volatility in the global market. Second is Indian strategy for that. Now, the third component over here is what is the issue with regard to India-China trade deficit. Now, how this particular volatility of the Chinese is impacting the India-China trade deficit and what we shall do. So this is what is my question is. Now, first I start the answer with China and recent devaluation of its currency. So I try to explain the overcapacities created in China. So it became a huge market for the global commodities. One way the fall in global commodities, prices of the global commodities, and on the other way, China's decrease in consumption of the global commodities will lead to further worsening of their prices. And the second point is China's export-led growth strategy has reached its limitations and it has to live with its new normal. Now, who is going to take the space of China is the major question. One way you can see it as an opportunity to India, on the other way you can see it as a threat. On the opportunity front, we can gain from this to occupy the global space or global available market, that is on the opportunities front. And the Chinese investments also has to find a new destination and global investments also has to find a new destination because they are fast losing the confidence on China. India being relatively open market and fast growing market, if they want to double their investments, the source is destiny is going to be India. So that is another opportunity to us. So in this context, if we can create a right legal framework, it is the right time we can capture the global investments. The ease of doing business index has to be improved. And you talk about all these points. On the negative side, what can be the impact? So devaluation of the currency will lead to the dumping of the goods into the Indian market. So India has to resort to the certain protectionist and measures such as anti-dumping duties. And competitive devaluation of the currency by other Southeast Asian countries, it is going to reduce the global trade as a whole. It is going to further worsen the scenario. And the third thing is, India-China trade deficit is it is too wide and is favorable to China. But the Chinese investments which are expected to flow to India, they are actually not coming up and they are just around $1 billion out of the $250+ billion of the foreign direct investments to India. So in this context, India has to go forward and realize its Make in India dream by taking up the lost opportunity of the China. An Indian economy being relatively open, it can enjoy the greater confidence. Never in the history India had such a favorable macro policy environment, and never it has such a favorable demographic environment. So it shows that India can have, or India is going to redefine this particular century. So from this positive perspective, I can argue the question. So this will be my answer if I can convert it into 200 words. So this is today's answer is. Thank you very much. Every day I will post the discussion of the answer. So first is break down the question into individual components. So next think about how many paragraphs you need to present the answer. So if issue is related to a current event, directly enter into the answer explaining the current event. But don't over explain that. And finally conclusion has to be a opinion based rather than enumeration of a fact. This is what is the rule which I follow in my answer.